how has dyscalculia affected you growing up?
I've always been someone who's liked science. I love reasoning things out. I love understanding things. I love being able to see a process, to see a thing and understand what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And maths and like a quantitative approach is one of the ways that you can do that.
Yeah.
And growing up, really until I got to degree level, I did not see how the maths that we were learning in school related in any way to reality. What's the word?
Abstract?
Yeah, it was all abstract. It was all.
Is that entirely dyscalculia, or is it dyscalculia mixed with the fact when we were younger, the maths, I mean, I think they changed this with SATs and other things, but I remember when I originally learned the foundation maths, it was very much, this is how we do it, this is a formula, this is what you do to get this answer, a very rote learning of how to multiply, how to subtract. But then later on, I think when I went into the similar schools as you, they somewhat changed it sometimes, so it was more applied maths, like Billy goes and buys 50 beans, but he loses 2 down the drain. And then an elephant walks by and distracts him, and then there's 17 giraffes. How many pigeons were there watching? That's how I felt. Okay,
that is very much how it felt.
I know. Again, some of them were like that. I'm just like, is this actual maths or is this testing your working memory?
My dyscalculia meant that I didn't make the other connections. So there was the really strange how many giraffes were there. Yeah, there was yeah.
I don't know.
There was that. But there was also there's a reasoning behind that. There's a reason why they were asking us to count how many pigeons there were watching this strange situation with the giraffe and the elephant and the beans. But because I was struggling to have any understanding of what was going on, I wasn't getting the wider point. I am very bad at mental maths.
Okay.
If you ask me to do any kind of mental maths, I think the biggest problem is that I don't have a very good sense of what is a reasonable answer. If you ask me what's 5 times 10, of course the answer is 50. But if you ask me that or something, whether the answer should be 50 or 15 or 500, I don't tend to have an intuitive sense of what the order of magnitude should be, or what the.
Because I'm thinking, as you're saying that when you get the answer 50, that I didn't work that out.
I was right?
Yeah. When I didn't work that out, that was just an intuitive answer because of practice and repetition, right? And if you struggle to grasp those foundations at such a young age, that intuition in you wouldn't be there so much.
Yeah, I never learnt my times tables. I tried, but I never succeeded in learning my times tables. I could learn one times table, not the one times table, but I could learn a times table by rote.
Yes, because that's how we were taught them.
Yeah, but it wouldn't seat in my brain. So when I learned it was like, okay, so you learn your 5 times table, then you learn your 6 times table, then you learn your 7. By the time I was at my 7th times table, I'd forgotten my 6th. And so on, and because I never had that understanding of times tables, which is a silly thing because
I think this is a missed opportunity here, because if you didn't recognise that that's something that you struggle with, maybe it's the case that there's a different way of teaching you. Maybe it's the case that they realise you can't be taught your times table. You have to use a calculator every time. Let's put that to the side and focus on other stuff to do with your learning. And actually, you know, other pupils could do the times tables because that's what works for them. But for you, you could have focused on something that was actually more useful for your life.
And I think that is the case, because ultimately the reason why people teach times tables is, some of the reasons, is that it speeds up mental maths, because certain things that you normally like 6 times 5, you think, okay, well, what is 6 times 5? So you don't even have to engage your brain. You don't have to work out, okay, so you've got 6 times 6.
I actually did, when you said 6 times 5, what happened is I saw the numbers 35 in my mind. It wasn't working out at all. It was that intuitive from it being wrote into me. And I guess it's only useful.
35?
6 times 5? Or is it 30?
I think it's 30.
Holy. Okay, well, it turns out I am. Well.
No, but
wait, what is it now? So 5 is 25. Yeah, 6 is 30. Oh wow, Alex.
So what I did, the process in my head to work that out, and it didn't come immediately. But the process was to think, 6 times 5. 5 is half of 10. So.
Oh yeah. So
6 times 10 is 60. So half of 60 is 30. And this is one of the things that I think for me with my maths, I don't have any real intuitive sense. There's a thing called subitizing,
I've heard of that.
Which is if there were 3 cats standing there, you wouldn't think 1, 2, 3.
You'd look at it
and say 3 cats.
Yeah.
And I can do that for 3. I can do that for 4. But there comes a point where everybody would have to sit in there and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 27 cats. You have 27 cats. You can't look at a whole lot of cats and think, oh, there's 27. I mean, that actually is the stereotype from Rain Man with dropping the.
But I know this is where me and other autistic friends, we don't get along so well, because I will subitize. I'll go, oh, there's like 10 there, or there's like 20, or I'll impulse and approximations. Whereas they're like, no, this is the rule, this is the structure, this is the amount, and they'll really find problem with me sort of skipping over stages, because I don't see those stages and that information as useful. Oh, there's an amount of cats, it's over 10. There's a lot of cats. Whereas they're like, we need the specifics, we need the information.
Because I can't look at 27 cats and say there's 27 cats. I kind of have to think, well, do I need to know how many cats there are? No. Oh, you have to think that first. Whereas I'll just be like, cats. Well, yeah, fine. I mean, I wouldn't look at.
No, that doesn't mean I'm against cats. I just mean like, the information's not useful. I have to be I feel like I have to be very selective over what I pay attention to, because number 1, my attention could be all over the place. Number 2, I will forget that information, so there's no point me paying attention. But I know it frustrates other people, because to them it feels like I'm jumping. But I'm jumping around. What other ways does dyscalculia affect you? Like time, distance, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, being able to judge things quantitatively is something that I struggle with. How much time has passed? What is the distance from A to B? All of these things are things that I struggle with, and I do have to have strategies for dealing with that. Time, actually, time is something I really. I don't wear a watch because I find it really uncomfortable to wear a watch. But I have my phone in my pocket when I'm not at home. There are very few ways for me to judge time objectively without using an aid like a watch or clock.
I mean, you heard my watch chime for the hour.
I mean, that's the thing. I have, when I've got this set up, my computer announces a time every hour.
Yes.
And I got used to that because at my previous place of work there was a clock tower that went off every hour, and I got habituated to it because I'd say, oh, okay, that's time. I need to go. And also that clock was always fast. It didn't go off at it didn't go off on the hour. It went off 5 or something to the hour.
So you got 2 chimes that gave you almost condition your brain into. See, I found that when I used to have a watch that vibrated every half an hour, if someone ever asked me the time, I would be able to tell them within almost like a minute or two. I'd be like 46, 47, 28. I would know the specific time. But now it's set to an hour, I have no idea.